I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music, and we have an update on Tennington Park, John Zaika, and Bobby Kimball. Tennington Park's brand new song is Work to Do, featuring Mickey Thomas of Starship fame and Bill Champlin of Chicago fame, of course. We're going to go into the brand new single in just a second, but I know you guys don't want to wait. John Zaika is working on a documentary on the great former Toto lead singer, and we know he's been dealing with some aging issues that are affecting his mind. Here's John Zaika. We talk about Bobby?
Sure.
How is he? Is there anything you can tell us? I mean, obviously we're talking about everyone seems to know what he's going through, but obviously it's private as well. Is there anything you can tell us that?
Well, there will be more. We're doing this documentary, so that might
Let's start there. Let's start there. I mean, how did this come about? I mean, it's in your hands, right?
It is in my hands. I might play one on TV. I feel kind of strange a little bit, but I felt I needed to do this because he's my friend, and what he achieved. I mean, all the information I'm getting and where I'm going down in Louisiana, and I've been down there, and I knew his mother and father and his whole family. It's just, there's so much that he achieved there that needs to be told. And why is it happening? I think this gentleman that was doing some kind of documentary for him about this gentleman that taught him rhythm when he was a child is a seedy individual. He was in the entertainment business, so some of them are. And I don't know where that's at, but it wasn't good. And we're all getting older, and that story needs to be told. And I will be damned if I'm going to let my friend, that iconic voice, go out of any kind of world not getting the recognition. I mean, the band, yeah, they got their recognition, but people need to know this story. It's about a kid that learned from his mother piano, and she ran a daycare there, and their family was quite involved. And then he joined his brother's band, Blues Kings, and there's just so much history there. And then I will find out if this is true, but what I'm being told right now is there's some documentation of it, meaning pictures, that Jeff and David, I thought the story was SS Fool was rehearsing at a rehearsal place, and Toto was there, and they kept hearing Bobby's voice. But I'm told now by some people in Lake Charles that no, it's documented and there's photos, so I'll see and have them. But Jeff and David flew down there and scouted him. They had heard about him from somebody, and it might have been John Smith, who I will be talking to.
I should point out that for anyone who may not know, SS Fools were a band which had some of the backup band from Three Dog Night with Bobby Kimball. Go on to YouTube and you can find them on there.
Yes.
Tight little band, man. And that was before Toto,
Yes, it was. And I just went back and listened to their stuff. It's hard to find. I mean, I guess there's some stuff on YouTube, but
yeah, I
went into Spotify and some of the other streaming services, and it's not very often that you find it, but you can hear young tenor Bobby going off. He sounds like a child. It sounds like Donny Osmond. A Cajun Donny Osmond, but
I mean, it's too early in the process now, but do you have like a quasi sort of moving the goalpost at times, a limit for when you want to get this out?
Yeah, I think hopefully, to be realistic, because I know we talked about this before when I had the analog tapes, and I said, I'm going to get right at, I probably realistically by the fall,
yeah,
or somewhere in there. It's all in the editor. I mean, what I learned, and I have some great friends that are in that business, because I'm not a documentary filmmaker. What I am is a great organizer and organizing people and getting them together, I think. So I'm going to just get the footage, get it clean, get the audio, separate audio. I have all the music, I have everything. And then I'm going to spend a lot of time with Bobby, on camera, off camera, on camera, audio, this, that. I'm going to get it. So the premises of it will be his childhood, his music career, his journey into Toto. I will leave the Toto, as far as if people think this is a Toto documentary. That's meant for like a Cameron Crowe or somebody on that level. It really needs to be told by somebody that's, can deal with all that. Plus, there's a lot of iffiness around who does what with that, situation. I don't know the whole story. So
you had mentioned that you're going to be talking to Bobby. So that insinuates the fact that Bobby is in a shape, at least where he can talk about his past. He's coherent.
yes, yes, he is. And I'm going to Louisiana, leave next Wednesday or this coming Wednesday, because today's Thursday, right? Thursday or Friday? Wednesday?
Yeah.
Okay. So next Wednesday, I'll be down in Lake Charles, and I'll be down there for a week or 8 days. And then in March, I will go spend time. I'll stay at Bill's, and I'll spend a week every day with Bobby. We'll go out on, excursions to the beach, to wherever, to the store, and we'll just film. And I'll spend time with him and tell his story. So to give you how it will go, it'll be a narration. I think they call it a vorte or something like that, documentary style, or Scorsese, that kind of narration going on.
Mm-hmm.
Childhood, music, family, to me and Bobby talking. Back to an interview, Allison, Harriet, Allison's mother, who's was Bobby's.
Allison's Bobby's daughter, by the way.
Yeah, Allison Kimball. He's got a friend named Philip Crawford was best friends with Mike, his brother, and grew up around their family, and knows this guy has so much information about what happened, what they did down there.
Mm-hmm.
So I will be going back and forth, and then we will make it into, we'll go through the Toto stuff. What he achieved with them. I would like the opportunity to interview some of them, if they will, to give their side of Bobby. I'm not looking to unmask everything Toto, but what was Bobby to them, and how was that time? What was it about? How did it feel? I mean, they accomplished so much,
Yeah.
So, and then, there to San Francisco in the making of that record that we did together, that first record. And I have the video footage. So there'll be parallel stories going on at the same time.
All I ever needed. When's the timeline? So you said that was the old title. So will it be called something else?
No, I mean, it's such a it's really hard to talk about it at times, especially now, because all the emotion is raw again, but it sounds so great. The name of the Bobby Kimball documentary will be Kite on a String. And that comes from his mother. When I asked Ruby Kimball, what was Bobby like as a child? She said, oh boy, he was like a kite on a string. Hang on for dear life. He was everywhere.
Well, he's like that when you interview him. I think I've talked to Bobby via you, setting it up, I think 3 times, and the first time with both of you. And he's got energy. Like he's a good storyteller.
Yeah. And the whole family has a lot of stories. And so all of that energy led to him achieving some things in his life that most people couldn't achieve.
Yeah.
Were there downtimes and pitfalls? Sure there were. Like in most people's lives, there's ups and downs. And we'll go through that journey. And I want to give this to my friend and let him see what his career was all about. He knows it better than anybody, but I need the fans and the people and his friends and his family to see it too. I want to do it justice, so I will. Now the record, let me just tell you that when you interviewed me and I had the masters back, it wasn't until we did Work to Do that I actually transferred them to a hard drive, dragged them in the Pro Tools, and started on my journey. And what I was so blown out about is I just started panning, and it sounded so great. I mean, everybody, oh, we can do it all in the box now. We can all do it in the box now. Mm-hmm. There's still some for those. That Neve board is an 8038 there. All those transformers working in concert together, the sound rounded. Even the musicians that played on that record have heard, some of them have heard it now, and they're like, oh my God, it's just so warm And Bobby's vocals are just so in your face and incredible. There's no pitch problems with Bobby. His hearing was great then. Mickey sounds great. The band sounds great. Buzzy Feeten. I mean, I'm having a ball. And what is so great about being able to transfer it in here is I'm looking at the horns and some other things that were maybe they weren't grouped together right. And now I can, put them. I'm not living on the grid. It's got to have a human feel, but it's amazing. I actually sat here with tears streaming down my face on a couple of them, just going, because I can go back to when I wrote it.
Yeah.
And what I was feeling and what happened. That manager, Bobby's taking it, running with it, signing record deals, all of the stuff that went down. Now it's ours again. So I'm going to use it in this documentary.
Timeline for the new version of the album?
I don't know. I'm one man show here. So this is pretty tough. I'm trying to, I think I'll have an assistant help me with a couple things, but I think I should probably put that in the documentary and let it come out when the documentary comes out. Yeah. If I start, everybody wants, of course you want the world to hear your stuff and single, let it out. But I don't know if it's the right thing. I think I'll try something different this time. And I think I'll put it in with the Bobby Kimball Kite on a String soundtrack. There's legalities I have to go through. Like we all know Bobby wrote You Are the Flower, the Toto song. We know that him and David Page, although Bobby originally wrote Waiting for Your Love, it was called You Got Me. He has the demo. I've heard the demo. I have some demos. I have their rehearsal tapes. I can't share that. I don't really have that kind of financial clout to go license all the Toto songs because it'll cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
And nor is a place to tell that story. That should be done by hierarchy, like I said, Cameron Crowe or somebody. But I want to use You Are the Flower and Waiting for Your Love, and I'll seek out to license those, and we'll see what it brings. If there's issues with it, then so be it. I have other music. I have a lot of stuff with Bobby and I.
Yeah. So going back to Bobby and his condition, is there anything else you can tell us?
It will be revealed in this documentary how he's doing. We all love him, and he sends texts every day. He loves us. I love you, John. I love you. So, yeah, it'll be revealed in the documentary. That's what I'll say right now.
Okay. Dennington Park. Work to do. I love it. Nice groove, man. You know what?
You check it out.
Oh yeah. I that's a great sound, and the guys sound great. Bill Champlin, Mickey Thomas. Tell me about the making of the tune.
Well, Dennington Park. Well, let me deal with this. For Dennington Park started as you know, you interviewed us, the Journey song. That happened. Then I went to Will Champlin, who's Bill's son, and we did Layla, did a different spin on that. But I also wanted to do one with Bill and Mickey. Now, I didn't know Mickey had some concerts at the time. He wasn't getting back to me right away. So we started talking about, should we get Ellis Hall? Should we get this person, that person to do it with you, Bill? And then Mickey called and he was like, I'm on that. I want on that. And then the history of it, the San Francisco guys in and out of the Fillmore, two iconic bands, they never tracked together. They might have sang one time on stage or maybe even a couple times. I don't know what the numbers are, but they never tracked together. So I thought it was an interesting thing. So I went to LA. So Tom Saviano wrote a horn chart. Well, first of all, Mitchell charted it out, the basics of what we were doing, because I was
Mitchell Foreman. Yeah.
I was in the middle of a bunch of other stuff. He got on the phone with Bill and was talking with Bill, and they figured out where would be the sweet spot for Bill. And Mickey can go pretty much anywhere. Same with Bill, but Mickey's got that, he can get up there. So then I flew to LA. We got together over at Carmen Grillo's. There was Travis Carlton, Larry Carlton's son, on bass. That was my first time working with him. Wow, what a player. Amazing. I mean, that's a find right there. But so there was Travis, Joel Taylor on drums, Mitchell on keys. Carmen it was at his studio, so he was engineering it. Bill was there, Tony Polizzi on guitar. he was in the control room, and Joel and Travis were out in the.
Great solo in there. That solo is just scorching, man.
He's the man. He can dive into that. But so we start. I knew that I wanted, there's AWB and then there's the original version, the Isley Brothers. And I knew I wanted more of a funk thing, but as I was running around, because I'm always worried about documenting things now, when I thought I lost all that Kimball footage from 95, 96, I'm like, I got to start documenting things so I can go back and reference, some cool little things. And so I had these they're around here somewhere, these little Zoom cameras by Zoom. And I put them in various spots, and I had to deal with them. I'd never worked with them before. I didn't know the batteries run out in like 5 minutes. I mean, I put it on like 48, 24, so it was eating it up. But I was trying to get those set up, and before I knew it, people were like starting to play, and it was already going in a direction. And I was like, I got to just let it go. I just remember Tom Dowd, let them play. That's what he told me at High Street. Let them play. These are great players. You'll get more out of it. And then, so I realized, okay, we got to let them go. They did a few takes, and it was really great. I listened to the rough in the car going back and forth to Bill's. And then the following day or 2 days later, Paul Erickson, the engineer that was on Knee Deep in the Hoopla, the Starship record, he met us at Bill's. We got in the car and drove the 2.5 hours to Palm Desert, I think it was, or something like that, out to a studio there that a friend of ours, Jerry Lynn, set up that she works with. And Mickey met us there because he lives out there. So here we are now, and I got these two in there. And at first, Bill was going to take the first verse and Mickey the second. And then that switched on the fly. Bill, being the savant he is, he realized where the strong suits were. And then they just started going, and it just started, it was just, and I knew at that point, I'm a community organizer here more than a producer. I just need to let these guys go and then do what I do back here and sit here and figure things out and make some edits and stuff. So it turned out good, I think. I mean,
how far back do you go with Bill and Mickey? How did that start?
Mickey was an interesting one because that first Kimball record, formerly called All I Ever Needed, we were trying to get Michael McDonald. And somehow Bobby got me the manager. I think it was in Nashville. I can't remember it all, but he was going to be on board. His manager said to do some backgrounds on that record in San Francisco. And then it fell apart. They said, no, he can't do it. I don't know for what reason. Maybe he was on tour, I guess. But I sat there and I was just like, wow, I really got to do something. And I was driving home that night from the studio while the guys were tracking, or after they tracked that day. They cut 11 songs in 2 days. All the rhythms were done in 2 days. Amazing on that Neve 8038. So I was driving over the Bay Bridge back to Emeryville to my apartment, and a Starship song came on, and I was like, I know they're friends, and that's the voice. I want that voice. So I immediately called Bobby, who was staying at the Phoenix with the rest of the musicians. I said, we got to get Mickey. He goes, here's his number. And called him up, and he was in Sausalito, and he came down right away. Like the next night, he was down there. And I have all that footage. It just arrived today, as a matter of fact. I have all that footage. I got those guys singing together. It was great. And that was really the first time they tracked together too. Now that we think about it, it's really, there's some duet action on there and backgrounds by Mickey, but that's where Mickey started. So that would be January 17th, 1996. I met him and started a relationship, and we did some other stuff later together. Bill, though, Bobby would always tell me about Bill. Oh, you got to meet Bill. What a great man. He's unbelievable. You ain't seen nothing like this. He'd always say that to me, and I never had met him. And it wasn't until I think 2016, when We're Not in Kansas Anymore was done, that we met each other. Met him at the NAMM show. Chuck Negron, Bill Champlin, Bobby Kimball. They were doing this thing with Dexter Espinoza and some other people, and Tamara was on it. And I met them in the green room afterwards. and we started talking, and we just hit it off. And then, unfortunately, after that, not too soon after that, Bill's son had passed away, and I really got on a long conversation with him then. And then he was starting a record, and then the help with his sound exchange to help organize his catalog and get all that inputted. So we just became friends. And now it's like when I go to LA, I stay with them. They're like another family. Or
Yeah.
Will's coming in town February 18th. He stays here. We work. It's, you know, and sometimes I pinch myself and I feel like Reuben Kincaid with the Partridge Family.
Well, you guys really, I mean, every time we talk about Bill, to me, it always sounds like Bill's your brother-in-law or somebody, your brother, you know? It's just this symbiotic, just smooth relationship.
We have a dialogue, you know, as anybody that knows Bill, he's a card and he's got a lot of jokes, and there's stuff flying daily back and forth. That's just, it makes you laugh very hard. So we have a good dialogue.
I think I told you that the first time I met Bill was at a radio station. I was doing the afternoon drive show, and he came in. He was doing a show in Calgary, and he gets on live, and Carmen was with him, and so they both sit down, and Bill starts talking dirt on the Beach Boys live on the radio, and I'm going, okay, sure, let him go. You know? And he was just being, he had a problem with them. I forget what it was. I've still got the interview here someplace. But I remember going, what a natural, just easy, you know, he doesn't suffer fools. And that makes a good interview, you know.
And that makes a great songwriter and a great musician. He's got stories to tell, and they're great ones. And what he achieved and what Mickey's achieved, when I was sitting there and they were tracking, and I might make a suggestion or, you know, might not, whatever, just sitting there, just to be a fly on the wall. It's like the history there is unbelievable.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll have all links to Tennington Park in the description of this video. I'm John Bowden. Make sure you share our videos and like them and subscribe to our channel. Click the bell notification. This is Rock History Music. Take care of yourself.